Well, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on what time zone you're in and when you are seeing this. I'm super excited to welcome you guys to the Plan to Profit training. I'm super duper excited. Let me just take a breath because y'all, we're in for a really, really, really good time. And I hope that you are ready to learn and all the things. So, we're going to get started. And I want to first ask you to just tell me in the comments who's here, where are you tuning in from? Give me your name. Maybe tell me where you're tuning in from and your business. What's the name of your business? What type of business do you have? I'm going to give you guys a moment to go into the chat and do that. While you are doing that, listen, this training, how do you know if this training is for you? Well, if you are a business owner and you are ready to scale your revenue, if you're a business owner and you're like, listen, we're doing okay, but I would really love to simplify our marketing and make more sales, then you are in the right place. I'm going to give you some nuggets today to make this thing simple, y'all. Because listen, and I'm probably getting ahead of myself, but it doesn't have to be hard. However, what I know from working with entrepreneurs for many, many, many years is that marketing is either non existent, inconsistent, or just really difficult and really all over the place. And so I'm super duper excited to welcome you guys. I see the comments slowly coming in. Welcome, Autumn from Roots Restored, Christian Leadership Coach from Gettysburg, someone I've already had the privilege of coaching. So I'm super excited that you are here. Keep those comments coming in. I know you guys are typing. Hello, Javon. Our money lady is chiming in. Welcome. I'm super excited that you guys are here. Welcome, Coach Susie. Super excited to see you. Keep those comments coming. Let me know who's here, where are you tuning in from, and if you happen to be watching the replay, we're going to keep the replay up for 24 hours. And so feel free to comment because we're going to come back and engage and interact with you as well. All right, y'all, I got a lot of information to share with you guys. So I'm going to jump right into this thing. Hello, Coach Sakia, the commission teacher consulting. Okay, we love to see it. All right. I would love to know. I'm just so curious about what it is that you guys want to learn today. Hello, Tamika, aging smart realtor. Ooh, this is good. From Baltimore. You're right here with me in the not quite so sunny day, but I love it. Welcome. Let me jump into this thing because I feel like I have so much information for you. And okay, there we are. Okay, and I'm going to share my screen with you. All right, guys, let's keep this thing moving. There we go. Okay. So I want to welcome you to Plan to Profit. I'm going to walk you through really a simple 3-step monthly marketing engine that I am confident will double your income in the next 60 days if you implement. A key word on if you implement, okay? So who am I? Maybe you're new here. Maybe someone shared this with you. Maybe you saw this and you said, that looks interesting. And maybe you know a little bit about me. Maybe you don't. Well, my name is Tiffany Bethia. I'm the founder of Tiffany Bethia International. I'm also the executive director for the Baltimore City Chamber of Commerce. I sit on the Comptroller of Maryland's Business Advisory Board. And I am a certified brand strategist. I've been doing this work for 20 years, y'all. 12 of those years as a coach and consultant in my own business. I'm a best-selling author of 8 books. I'm an award-winning coach and speaker. And my favorite title of all, I'm the mom of a 16-year-old son, Jordan Joshua. And let me tell you a little bit about my why. I started my business in 2012. I had been in the industry for a little while, helping churches and nonprofits and pastors and leaders and speakers and authors building these powerful online brands. And I said, I think that I can do this for myself. Anybody here who works for you in your business full time or who's interested in working in your business full time? Drop me in the comments. But when I started this business, my son was 2 years old. I was freshly divorced and I was in a difficult season of life. I was trying to figure out my identity, my purpose, and what was next. I really didn't know. Like, is there more for me than where life is now? And as I began to pray and sit with God, and He began to breathe into me about the next season of life, it was not only about, who I was as His daughter and just as a person, but He began to give me vision. He began to show me that even though I had not planned on being a single mother and I had not planned for where life was, that He had given me the power to create what I wanted it to look like. And when I looked at my then 2-year-old, who's now 16, and said, where do I go from here? I knew that He was going to be watching me, that He was going to be watching the choices I was making, and He was going to decide what was possible about His life from what was possible in my life and what I was doing. And so I started this business not just to make income, which I did need to make income, but I also wanted to transform my life. I often tell coaching clients that it's okay if you want to transform lives, and it's okay if yours is one of them. And so through my coaching and consulting business, I've changed countless lives, and you'll get to hear from some of them directly, but I was also able to change my own life. And I give this to you because maybe you're in a place where you need that. Oracle, maybe you've heard this, just sent an email to 30,000 employees at 6 a.m. At 5:59:59, they had a job. At 6:01, they did not. We are living in very uncertain times, and this is a time where I believe that more than ever, you need to be paid for your knowledge, your expertise, your passion, your experience. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. These are just a couple of snapshots, and look, they're just numbers of monthly income, and they're not to brag, but they're to show you what's possible. What if you could make this income on the side? What if, in addition to your full-time job, just in case your company sends out one of those emails, you'd have a cushion and you'd be comfortable? This is what this session is about. And let me just be super honest and transparent. Oftentimes when I am talking to women in business, and maybe there's some fellas here, if you're a man watching this, say hey in the chat. But in particular, when I talk to women, even purpose-driven women or women of faith, they are so married to the impact that they forget about the income and what is possible. But when you think about some of the goals you have for yourself, how you want to bless people and help others, what could you do with an extra 1,000, 5,000, or $10,000 of monthly income? I want you to put that in the chat and let me know. Some of the people that I have helped, this particular person who is also a dear friend of mine, I've helped several times. And one of the most recent times that we worked together, I designed a marketing launch campaign for her coaching program. It was the first time that she was looking to sell it from the stage and not in a one-on-one manner. And we crafted a 3-day challenge that generated her $30,000 in 1 month's time. Yes, you read that correctly. Ironically, around that same time, I also had a couple, Ryan Whitney, who I met in another program. And then they came to me and said, hey, we love to continue working with you. They had previously sold their coaching program, but they were looking to scale it. Now, let me add some context. Ryan Whitney are also background singers. And at this time, they were on tour with Alicia Keys. So they had very limited time, and we had designed a whole play for their ad campaign, and they were so busy they never got to turn on the ads. But they too actually generated $30,000 plus in this launch with 30 days without the ads that we so beautifully designed. And so I'm giving you a sneak peek of what can happen when you implement what we're going to talk about today. Okay. Now I'm going to stop sharing my screen just for a second because I want to see the comments. I'm sharing my screen. Oh, there we go. Now I can see. I couldn't see the comments, and I'm like, I want to see the people. I want to see the people. Okay, there we are. Hey, Joshua Davis. Okay. And then we've got Ayana, reinvest in my business. I love that. Okay, let's see if it works when I click the button. I don't think it's letting me do it, but that's okay. I'll just click here when I want to see you guys' comments. But here we go. Okay, so, oops. Wrong button. Oh, that's fine. Okay, there we go. So I got a question for you. Which one of these describes you? Now, I just want to preface this by saying this is a safe place. Okay, this is a safe place. And this answer is for you. Now, I want you to put it in the comments, okay? But if you're like, uh-oh, you on my toes and you don't feel comfortable, I want you to at least identify which one of these you are for you so that you will know how to best receive this information today. All right. So let's start with person number one. Person number one has all three of the stages we're going to talk about today implemented in their business. First, you may have on the attraction side, you've got a website, you've got social media. Maybe you've got a podcast or a blog or some type of signature content where people can find you. And then on the nurture side, you have, here's the caveat, a regular emails that go out weekly, bi-weekly, at a minimum, monthly, consistent emails going out to your audience. Okay. You may also have a Facebook group or a community where you're nurturing and building relationships. You might also have some text message marketing or an app. Okay. And then third, you also have conversion mechanisms in place. So you've got email sequences designed to sell and to get your services in front of people. Maybe you've got calls or a sales call. Maybe you even have a regular discount code or something that moves people who are on the fence into working with you. All right. That's person number one. Some of you may be like, well, okay, I don't quite have that, but I'm close. I have attract and nurture. This is person number two. Maybe you have a website, you've got a social media, maybe you've got a podcast or a blog or somewhere that you're regularly building credibility with your audience, and you are emailing them regularly. You're building a place of community to deepen your relationship with your leads, but you don't yet have those conversion mechanisms in place. You can't show me a calendar with how often you're launching or selling. You can't really show me a proven way that you get people to sign up with you. If that's you, I want you to put a 2 in the chat. And then you might be saying, uh-oh, Tiffany, I don't think I'm either of those. I think I might be person number 3. Person number 3 has a website. You have social media that you're consistent on. Maybe you've got a podcast or a blog or a LinkedIn newsletter or something, but it stops there. You're not emailing your people consistently. You don't have a free community or group or email, and you don't have a consistent conversion mechanism just yet. All right. So let me see. I want to see who's who. Let me come to the comments. Okay. We have quite a few 2s. Nobody said one just yet, and that makes me happy. You know why? Because my goal, my goal is to get you to be person number one. All right. So now that we've established that you need to be here, let's keep going. Okay. Let's get these slides back up. Okay. By the end of our time together, I want to arm you to be person number one, because person number one is the person that has a set, solid marketing engine that is a repeatable play that you can run over and over and over to generate the clients and the sales that you want. Okay. Now, I gotta start here. And I'm gonna come back to the video so I can see you guys as I talk about this. Okay. I want to talk about word of mouth marketing. How many of you would say that at the moment word of mouth is your top or one of your top ways that people find you? I want you to put me in the comments. People are finding you via word of mouth. You're getting a lot of referrals, and that's your main primary way that people find you. I know you're in here. Where are you? Because you're always here. Okay. Let me tell you now, while you're typing me, while you're doing this, okay, and being shy, I want to be honest with you. There are positives and there are negatives to word of mouth being your number one or your primary way of people finding you. So it's not all bad. Okay. This is a place. Here's what I want you to know. Word of mouth comes with a very high level of trust. See, I started with the good. Okay. Word of mouth comes with a very high level of trust. And I see we got a lot of, okay, word of mouth, we're in here. All right. Listen, when someone makes a referral, when someone says, oh my goodness, you have to try that restaurant, you got to go see that movie. Oh, I have the perfect person for your website. The level of trust that they have in you, data shows they tend to relay that same amount of trust to them, because they know you would not just refer any old person to them. Would you agree? Right? Absolutely. And so, and I've seen this in my own business. I have for years, I have various levels of things that I offer and ways I work with people. But even on the more expensive side of my product suite, when people have made a referral, I've seen people just kind of like, yep, I'm in. I don't really need a whole lot. Why? Because that person wouldn't have referred me to you if you weren't amazing. But let's talk about the negative side. And this is a big one. Okay. Word of mouth does not come with a high level of controllability or predictability. You cannot control and oftentimes even predict how many referrals are going to come in a month's time. Let me ask you, how many of you every single month you can predict exactly how many referrals are coming your way? Or is it more of a, I'm sharing information, I'm hoping, I got my fingers crossed? But no, I cannot guarantee. I don't really know exactly how many referrals I will get. And so I've been preaching this gospel for many years, okay, that I want to get you out of word of mouth land. This doesn't mean I don't want you to also, let me make sure I'm being clear that this is not an either or, this is a both and conversation. That I'm not saying I don't want you to get referrals too. What I'm saying is, in order for you to begin scaling with predictability and control, I want you to also have a system where you know, if I put this in, I'll get this out. That for every dollar I invest in my marketing, I'll make this much back. That for this amount of activity, here's exactly what I'll make. And so if I have this specific sales goal, this is exactly how I'm going to hit it every single month. Now, Who's interested in having that level of predictability and control in your business? Just type a yes if that feels like you. And so here's what happens. And I'm looking down at my notes because I get excited and I don't want to leave anything out. Here's what happens when you are living in word of mouth land and when you do not yet have a consistent marketing engine. You are in feast or famine with your revenue. It might be really great one month, and the next month you're like, anybody out there? It's like an echo. It feels like it's empty, like where are the people? You feel like you're constantly starting over because it's like, man, what I did last month doesn't feel like it worked, or I don't know, right? Inconsistent visibility. Maybe because if you don't have the three pieces we talked about, we're going to go into those in more detail, then you might feel like sometimes people see you a little bit more and other times they don't. Stress and burnout. Can we just talk plain? Okay? Because having done this for 14 years, what I will tell you is without a consistent system that's dependable and that's reliable, it can feel like the weight of the world on your shoulders when you're trying to hit a consistent monthly revenue goal. And no way to predict your income. And if you are full-time in this, I told you my story. I started my business as a single mother of a 2-year-old. And now he's a 16-year-old eating me out of house and home. I need to know with certainty that I will be able to cover at least my $1 million grocery bill at a minimum. Okay. So let's talk. Let's keep going a little bit. Y'all ready for more? If you're ready for more, I want you to put more in the chat. Let's get these slides back up. Okay. So now, like a good coach, I had to start with why. Now let's talk about how a little bit. Okay. Hang with me because we're going somewhere. Okay. First of all, this is something that you need to be mindful of. What is a client journey? You might be like, what? I don't even know. I don't know. What is a client journey? Well, a client journey, you may have heard it referred to as a sales journey or a funnel. All of these things, we're talking about the same process. This is the process that's or sequence of touch points, of interactions that a potential sale for you goes through from the moment that they first find out who you are to the moment that they actually purchase and their ongoing relationship with you. It encompasses every single step and experience along the way that really shapes what they think of you and why they might decide to buy from you. Now, here's what I really want you to write down. Okay. And, note takers are world changers. So those of you taking notes are especially going to see the 10x in your income, right? This is what I want you to write. If you do not have an intentional client journey, you will not have consistent clients. Well, but Tiffany, you don't understand. My product or my service is so amazing. And with its amazingness, without an intentional client journey, you will not have consistent clients or consistent clients for long. Let me say this. I've had the pleasure of working with pastors, celebrities, people who have had really big audiences. And everyone comes to the end of their warm market at some point. It may take longer depending on how big your warm market is, but I can't tell you how many calls I've gotten that said, it just stopped working. I don't know what happened. And what happened is you got to the end of your warm market and now we've got to build an actual audience for you. And so I have seen people make it all the way to 6 figures with their warm market and then it just completely dry up. And they're like, what happened? Now you have to build a real audience. Okay. So I want you to write this down. Let's dive into this a bit. This is literally the strategy that clients have used to build multiple 6 and 7 figure businesses. So don't take this lightly. Okay. I wasn't going to show up with anything. What I'm giving you right now is what people pay me for, because nobody wants the stuff that isn't worth that. Right. So I want you to write this down. The first step is attraction. Okay. And I got a lot of info, so I got to move quickly. Awareness stage. The first step, and as simple as it seems, people skip this, is that you've got to have something in your marketing where every single day new people are learning who you are. You just want to simply make them aware that, hey, I'm in business. Now, here are some mistakes that happen in this stage. Number one, you don't have a clear niche. So you're just talking to everybody. And because you're talking to everybody, it's resonating with no one. The second mistake I see is not having a compelling message that really attracts your ideal client. I like to help clients create what I call your disruptive message. And it's really a statement that guides all of your marketing, that kind of shakes up the industry and what your audience knows. Not having one focused source of traffic, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. And not having a signature piece of content to grow your email list with potential buyers. Now, here's what I want you to know. On this first step, here's the focus. I need to have one niche audience, one very specific group of people, whether it's government agencies, whether it's companies of a certain type, or if it's individuals and there's a profile. You need to be clear of who am I going after. Number two, I recommend, this is my recommendation, one, you got to have a lead magnet. And I believe in this day and age, a video lead magnet will convert highest. Why do I say that? The data shows that in video marketing, the know, like, trust factor is sped up. And so if I read something, okay, great. But if I get to watch you teach and share and explain, then I'm going to bond with you in a deeper way than I would from just reading your ebook. Now, I'm here for those too. I think ebooks, I think quizzes are also great lead magnets. What I recommend is that inside of that, so for example, I had a quiz lead magnet, and on each of the results pages, I had a brief video explaining their result and what they should know next. So instead of just reading it, there was video there. You can do an ebook. I have an ebook. And when you download that ebook, there's a video there where I'm talking and explaining why, because I want to speed up the know, like, trust factor and how fast we build connection. And here's the other thing I want you focused on in this first step: one primary traffic source. And when I say traffic, you may be so new at this, you don't even know what I mean. I want you to think about if you had a bookstore and you would need what? Foot traffic. You need people to walk by the store. If you have an online business, you still need traffic. You need people to walk by your space online to know you exist. And there are a lot of different ways to be discovered by people, but I recommend that when you are first building your marketing engine, that you pick one place, that is YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever you decide, and that you really double down on that one traffic source. Okay? All right. Got some extra slides in there. All right. So number two, let's talk about the nurture stage. First, I always like to start with why. Okay. Why does this matter? Because you're not going to do it if you don't think it's important. Okay. Once you have put out information and content that gets people to know you exist, this right here is the big messy middle that a lot of people skip. And it is the reason why so many people's sales are where they are, okay? Because did you know that 80% of sales happen on the 5th through 12th interaction? Does that seem like a lot to y'all? I want to see this. I want to see the comments. Cuz I feel like when I first heard this statistic, I was like 5th through 12th. So you're telling me that I might have to talk to somebody 5 to 12 times before they're ready to buy? That feels like a lot. That's how I felt. I don't know if y'all feel that way. And I'm like, well, what are these 5 to 12 interactions? This could mean if you meet someone at a networking event, if you meet them online, it doesn't even matter. That's one interaction. And depending on what you sell, depending on the price point, depending on the level of trust needed, you might have several more interactions. And this is where most people's client journey falls short. Because it's not that people weren't interested in buying from you, it's that you didn't give them enough opportunities to interact, to be moved from know, like, trust into, okay, I'm ready to buy from them. Okay. So I always got to lead with why, because now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the nurture phase, and I needed you to understand why that's important. Okay. So here we go. Ooh. Okay, I think we got a slide left off, but let me tell you about the like and trust factor. What you need is an email sequence that educates your potential buyers and builds credibility with them. Okay. And so if you and I were to work together, okay, this is something that I'd be able to help you with. You need, when we talk about this nurture stage, most of your nurture is going to happen in two places. The first one, and the primary one, is actually via email. How many of you knew that? How many of you knew? So many people have asked and said, is email marketing dead? No, it is not. And the data shows it is very much alive. And it's why Best Buy and who's in your inbox every day? Shein, okay, Bath and Body Works they email me more than my family members. Why? Because they know that email marketing still works. Okay. I will say that when I come in to design a campaign, I'm going to look at your social media account. I'm going to look at your email count, and we're going to be able to come up with a real strong baseline of how many you'll be able to sell just based on those audience numbers alone, but primarily from your email list. And so here's what I want you to know. From the attraction stage, all roads lead to your email list, so that in this stage, we can nurture and build a relationship with people who are interested in what you have to offer. And I'm going to show you in a minute how these three work together. So just hang in here with me, okay? Just setting the foundation. The third and final stage is convert, okay? Convert. You need one sales activation call. And this can look like a couple of different things. And I'm going to show you that in a minute. This could be a one-on-one sales call. This could be a webinar, a challenge, a masterclass, a proposal. It depends on what exactly you sell and who you sell to, but you need one activation moment where people move from, okay, I've learned who you are, I've learned what you have to offer, I'm interested in that. Now I'm going to take the step to learn how I can work with you. Okay. And so I'm going to show you in a minute what this can look like. So I want to give you two examples of what this can look like in real time. I want to give you an example of what it looks like with ads, with paid traffic, and what it can look like without. Why am I doing that? Because depending on where you are in your business, if you are just getting started and maybe you don't have ad revenue to spend, or maybe you're just starting out and it's new, then the second slide is for you. But if you are a seasoned entrepreneur, you know what you sell, you've sold it repeatedly, and now you're ready to just scale it, I'm going to recommend that you move with ad traffic. So here's what this would look like for you. The first step of the process would be that you have a lead magnet and you are sharing that lead magnet in your ad. And maybe it's a quiz, maybe it's a webinar, whatever it is. And the purpose of that lead magnet is to get in front of someone and to solve a quick problem. Let's say you are a coach and you work with authors and you help them write their first best-selling book. The lead magnet is not going to take them through the whole process, but it's going to solve one problem, like how to pick a name for your book or how to decide on a topic for your book. Okay. I'm trying to use some examples of people that I see here watching. Let's say that you are a prayer coach and you work with women on building an active and robust prayer life. Well, there's a whole lot of steps that can come to that, right? So maybe you walk them through how to design your prayer time and you give them steps for do this, do this, do this, and this is your daily prayer time. One small win that you can give them. That's how you design your lead magnet, okay? And you're going to share that via ads. And here's what happens when people sign up, they get the lead magnet and you get their email. It's like dating. We met online, but we exchanged numbers, and now we can build the relationship. Then they get into an email sequence. And this is typically maybe somewhere between 3 to 7 emails that follows up with them after they've purchased. You're sharing more about you. You're asking them questions. You're learning about them. You're giving them more value, and you're building a relationship with them. And at the end of that sequence, you're going to invite them to another moment. And that could be a sales call with you. It could be for a proposal. It could be to join me for a webinar or join me for a 5-day challenge, depending on what it is specifically that you sell. Now, let's say you are not at a place yet where you're ready to do ads. No problem. Then this is what that would look like for you. It would start with just weekly social media posts. Let me also clarify this. Oftentimes that we get asked the golden social media question, which is, how often should I post on social media? And the reality is the answer to that question really depends on, are you spending ads or are you going completely organic? Because if you are doing ads, your ads are really going to do the heavy lifting. And I've seen this with companies I've worked with who do even 7 and 8 figures, who might post once or twice a week. But because they're doing ads, the ads are doing the heavy lifting. But then on the flip side, for someone who is all organic, they might be posting every single day or at least 4-5 times a week. Why? Because their content is doing the heavy lifting. And so your weekly social posts are educating people. You're sharing knowledge. You're sharing resources. You're positioning yourself as an expert. And then you're also sharing with them your what? Your lead magnet. Okay. And I want to give a balance here for somebody who's doing this method. You want to think 70, 30, 80, 20. 70 to 80% of your content is just giving them value, answering questions, positioning yourself as an expert. And only 20 to 30% of the time are you literally making an offer or pushing them toward your specific lead magnet. Then from there, once they have signed up for your lead magnet, they're on your email list. Now they're going to get an email sequence. And they're going to get to know you and learn more about you and get some more value. And then they'll be introduced to the next step, which is what? Your sales call, your proposal, your webinar, your challenge. Now, before I get to this next part, I just need to check in. Okay. Are we good? There we go. Okay. Let me check in and see, are we all right? I know I'm giving you a lot of information. Tamika said, "That's me. I'm not a pushy salesperson, and it's hard for me to reach out and talk to someone that many times, especially if they don't return communication." Understood. Okay, listen. Okay, we're good. We're in here. All right. Because now I want to show you, this is the piece I'm about to give you. Lean in, because this part is not sexy, but this is the part that if you really implement this, it will be game changer. Now, let me just ask you, let's just make this is a safe place. How many of you are like, I'm not really a numbers person? I don't necessarily like math. Math class wasn't my thing. I don't like it. Where are you? Let me see who you are. And then anybody like me who actually was a math nerd and you like the numbers, let me not assume. Who's here? Who's like, I don't like the numbers. I don't really care for it. Autumn said, I'm not interested. And who's here like, yes, I like the numbers. I wanna, while you guys are typing in, I wanna lean into something. You might not like the numbers, but the numbers like you. Okay, see, I knew I wasn't alone. Bring me all the numbers. Exactly, right? Yes. Half. Okay. I know you love numbers. Of course you do. But it's needed. Thank you, Autumn, because you're doing the teaching for me. Let's talk. I want to show you in real time how this works. And this is why I get excited. I want to show you how this works. Okay. So it's a numbers game. So I want you to write this down. Let's say that you have a monthly target. We're going to do a little bit of math class, but we're going to make it fun. Okay. Let's say you're like, hey, I want to make $20,000 every month. Okay, cool. And your coaching or consulting offer is $4,000. Okay. So we need 5 clients. Are we clear? You guys saw how I got that? Yes. Okay. So let's keep going. Let's say that what we know is your conversion rate is 20%, meaning out of 100 people you talk to, you convert 20 of them. Now, if you're just starting out, you may not know this number, but this is something you want to track. Okay. And so you can literally start by keeping a spreadsheet and listing every call you had in a month and how many of them said yes and turned into a client. Do that for a good 2 to 3 months, and you're going to come up with your average conversion rate. So based on this scenario, this person's conversion rate is 20%, which is about right, just so you know. Okay. Which says this person needs 25 either individual calls or they need to be in front of 25 people. Let me make that clear. Because you might be like, wait a minute, 25, I can't. You may not be able to do 25 individual calls, but you could have 25 people like me here all together. Okay, so there's options. Okay, now let's factor this out. Let's say that you do a webinar or you do individual calls. On average, about 20% of your people are going to no-show, reschedule, or just not be a good fit. So in reality, they don't just need 25. They're for cushion, they really need 32. Okay? Are you with me? Are you with me? And so if 32 is our monthly target, we can break that down and say every week I need to get in front of 8 people. Or I need to create one big monthly moment where all 32 people show up. Now, this is where the teacher in me comes out. Do y'all see how I got to these numbers? Okay, talk back to me. Because this is where people's marketing plans typically are not this detailed. That you can't tell me how many people you need to talk to, how many people you need to get in front of. But this is the X's and the O's. I don't know why I had to mime that out. Like, This is the X's and the O's. This is the play. Okay. And so, well, then there we go. Okay. She said it makes sense. Then we're doing the right thing. Okay. And so let's keep going because I got some more for you. My computer is a little bit slow, but I love her. Okay. And so let me I want to jump forward in a second, but this person knows that every single month, here's the play I need to run. And if I know I got to get in front of 32 people a month, then every week I'm trying to get in front of 8, or I'm creating an intentional monthly moment to get all 32 of my people. Now, I want to take this a little bit deeper, okay? These are the numbers that you need to be tracking on a monthly basis. Okay? Hint, hint. I have this on a spreadsheet to share. Okay? Because how many of you have heard of leading indicators and lagging indicators? I'm curious. Let me come back so I can see you. Who's heard of leading indicators? Who's heard of lagging indicators? Who's that girl? I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm giving you some game right now, okay? When we talk about lagging indicators, we are talking about numbers that show you what's happening in your business, but it's kind of late. It's at the end. It's like, so an example of that is your sales. Your sales is an indicator. It lets you know, is your business on track? Did we hit the 20K of month or did we not? Okay, so we got a mix. I love this. Have not heard, have heard. Well, you're both in the right place. Okay. So a lagging indicator is an indicator that it'll tell you how healthy your business is or if you're on the right track. But the problem is it kind of tells you late. Right now, you can go look at March sales and you can see, was March a good month? Did you hit your target or did you not? However, March is over, right? But then you have leading indicators. Leading indicators let me know before I get all the way to the end of the month. If these numbers don't look right, it gives me time to correct before something happens. So I don't have to wait till I get to the end of the month and go, okay, how do we do? I can look at my leading indicators and go, uh-oh. And so I want to show you an example of that, okay? Like I said, this is the part that may or may not feel sexy, but when you implement it, it's going to make that bank account look sexy, okay? So let's start with the first phase that we talked about. In the attraction stage, the first number you want to be tracking is how many new people get on my email list. I'm obsessed with this number. If you want to copy me, this is the number. Followers is cool and I will track it. I will pay attention. But my very first, if I could only track one, I would be tracking my email list. If you were to ask me, Tiffany, is it more important for me to grow my email list or my follower account? Without thinking, without a breath, I would tell you your email list subscribers. Every month, you want to be tracking this. If you didn't see any growth in your email list, then it probably showed up somewhere in your sales. The second thing you want to track is the landing page conversion. Let's say that you have your lead magnet, your ebook, your quiz, or whatever it is. How for the people who saw it, how well did it convert? And believe it or not, you're only looking for about a 5 to 10. I would say closer to that 10% ratio. Now, if you are doing ads, okay, you're going to be looking for ad ROI. For every dollar that I invested in my ads, what did I earn back? If I spent $500 in ads and I made $5,000, hey, that was a pretty good return on investment. If I spent $500 in ads and I didn't make anything back, I need to look into my ads and see what's going on. Okay. And these are some other less important, but numbers you can certainly track. Now, let's go to nurture. You want to also be looking at your email open rate. You're sending out emails, but is anybody opening them? Anything under about 35% lets you know, I may need to tweak some things. 35% and over, believe it or not, you're doing all right. On average, I tend to have about a 45 to 55% email open rate. And I'm like, all right. Anything less than that, I'm like, what's going on? Okay. Email, that CTR stands for click-through rate. So if I send out an email and I put a link in that email, how many people clicked on it? Now, believe it or not, you're only looking for somewhere maybe around 3 to 5% for this number. If you have a Facebook group, a school group, or something like this, how did that growth go? How many new people joined your group? And how many people are active in this group? And then this is the big one, though. This is the big one. If, let's say, you do sales calls or discovery calls, how many calls have you been booking? So, for example, for that person, let's say they don't do webinars, they only do individual calls, and they know that they need 8 every week. Well, at the end of the week, or I don't want to say the end, if you get to Wednesday and you got 2 calls, this is how this becomes a leading indicator, because you're like, I'm far from my goal. And so I've experienced this where I've looked at my tracking sheet and went, I don't have as many sales calls as I would like. And then I added more content. I went live. I added more emails to fill up that sheet. Why? Because I didn't want to wait till I got to the end of the month to figure out it was slow. Those leading indicators told me you're supposed to have, and for me, it was somewhere around 10. If I didn't have those 10 calls, and I knew, I need to add something in. Okay. And so this is why you want to have a dashboard. I call mine a scorecard, where you're tracking your numbers, because every week, but certainly by at least like the halfway mark of the month, you want to take a look at these numbers. And if you're like, they're looking great, then you keep going. You keep being consistent. If it looks a little slow, then you know, I may have to put a little fire so I can get my numbers up. Does that make sense? Are y'all following me on that? I want to make sure that makes sense. Lord, look at the time. Okay. We coming. So I'm glad this replay is going to be up, because I just feel like, how many of you are like, child, I think I'm gonna have to come back and watch this again. This is a lot to take in. Who's here? Just put replay if you're like, I'm gonna have to watch this again. Okay. So let's keep going. I've got a little bit more for you. I want to give you an opportunity to be interactive with what you're learning. Okay. So here's what I want you to do, because the time is going so swiftly, but I want you to take a screenshot of this slide. And I want you to, I don't want you to do it right now, because I want you to think about it, but I want you to take a screenshot of this, and I want you to write this out for the month of April. Okay. Number one, what's your 1 to 2 lead source? What's your 1 to 2 lead source? And then what's your KPI goal? How many leads do you need this month? How many people do you need to get in front of this month? Second, how many emails will you send this month? And this may be based around, are you doing a webinar? Are you doing a class? Are you just interested in getting people to book a discovery call with you? What does your sales mechanism look like? That's going to determine how many emails you need to send. What about people you've met in person? How many people do you need to follow up with each week? And then lastly, What's your main offering? What is it that you're selling? How many times are you going to get that offer in front of people? And how many sales are you trying to make? Okay? Now, here's a question I have for you. First of all, before I even go any further, how many of you are like, this is helpful, but I feel like there is a lot more to each of these steps. And you can imagine that I could never break it all down in 1 hour. How many of you recognize that? Like, ooh, child, okay, this is helpful. And it's got my wheels going because now I know the 3 steps I need to be doing. But Tiffany, how do I know? How do I calculate my conversion rate? How do I figure out based on the revenue goal I have, how many people I need to be getting in front of? And does this offer make sense? Should I be selling this for this price? Like, how many of you're like, oh, I still have a few more questions. Okay. And so here's what I know. And again, just being super transparent, this is not for everybody watching this. But in full integrity, I know that there are some of you watching this that there's 2 different groups of people. There's a group of people that you're watching this and this has been helpful. And you're like, bet, I'm good. Like, I'm going to go look at what I have in place. I'm going to make some tweaks and then I'm going to run the play. Perfect. Then I have been honored to serve you. And then there's some of you watching this and you're like, ooh, you answered a lot of questions and gave me some new ones. And I can't figure this out on my own. Okay. And so, in full integrity, I want to give you an opportunity to continue serving you and to continue answering those questions. Okay. And if that's you, let me show you what that could look like. All right. Thank you, computer. So here's the question I have for you. If you're like, yeah, girl, I know you talking to me. My question is, are you ready to remove the guesswork of where your next client is coming from? Crossing your fingers, hoping somebody sends you a referral. Are you ready to get out of the passenger seat and jump into the driver's seat and steer your business to where you want it to be monthly? Okay. If your answer is yes, put yes in the chat. There we go. I was like, come on, slides. So I want to introduce to you the Q2 Revenue Reset Bootcamp. This is going to be one day that we're going to work together hands-on to really answer those questions and literally build out what your monthly plan looks like for April, May, and June. Now, I'll tell you off top, as you can imagine, I have to limit space for this because this right here is a precursor where I've been talking to you. However, this Q2 Reset Bootcamp is an interactive session where I'm going to see your face, you're going to see my face, I'm going to hear your voice, and we're going to work together. Okay. So let me tell you a little bit more about that. Oh, there we go. Number one, it's a 3-hour planning session. So it's interactive. I'm going to learn a little bit more about what you sell. How much does it cost? How many of them do you need to sell to really hit your goal and feel good and take care of what you need to take care of? Then we're going to come up with your marketing calendar based on that. Okay, in order to hit this goal, here's exactly what you need to do when. I'm going to give you the KPI dashboard that I just talked about, the specific spreadsheet where you can plug in your numbers and just with ease track these numbers every single month. Now, as you're realizing, you're like, uh-oh, that means I'm going to have to post on social media. You are correct. And I'm going to give you content prompts. I'm going to show you how to figure out exactly what it is that you need to post. And then I'm going to give you real-time feedback. Your website and every piece from the attract, nurture, and convert stage you are going to get. But there's more. Come on, y'all. You already know. I've got to make you an offer you can't refuse. So So I put this power pack together, and it has some of my favorite templates and resources. When you sign up, you're also going to get my magnetic messaging tips and tricks. I have written copy on multi-million dollar campaigns. I know how to craft words that make people go, ooh, oh, I think that's for me. And I'm going to give you the exact formulas that I've used. If you're still refining your niche audience, I'm going to give you a worksheet to do that. Maybe you are in the process of launching signature content. You want to do a podcast or a blog. I'm going to walk you step by step through how to create that. Oh, social media, the mystery that is social media. What do I post? What do I say? How do I get their attention? I'm going to give you what I call disrupt their scroll. And this is how to create viral worthy social media content. This is a big one. How many of you have a website right now, whether it's under construction or you have it? Put me in the chat. Here's what I've learned in my 20 years of doing this. There are pretty websites and there are profitable websites. The idea is you would like it to be both. It can be pretty and profitable. But here's what I've learned working with website designers. Most website designers are designers. They know what to do to make your website pretty. But oftentimes when I go to people's brand and audit their website, it doesn't have the specific pieces that will make it make money. You shouldn't be paying for your website every month. It should be paying for itself. And so on this checklist, I'm going to show you how to make your website profitable and pretty. Now, if you have not even started an email list yet, I've been talking so much about like email list, and maybe you're like, girl, I don't even have that. Okay. I'm going to give you the starter guide that tells you how to create it. I'm also going to give you my irresistible offer checklist because the first step is also making sure what you're selling is something people are really interested in. And this checklist is going to help you ensure that is the case. Then I'm going to give you two more things, a signature framework creator. If you are a coach or a consultant, you need a repeatable process that you take people through and every single client gets the same incredible result. And if you don't yet have that signature framework, this guide is going to help you create that. And then lastly, isn't this a lot? I'm going to give you my features over benefits guide. Features are the things that for example, let's say it's 3 coaching calls and those are features. Benefits are what really sell, and which is the ability to predict your income every single month, removing the stress and overwhelm from attracting clients. Most people constantly push features, but I'm going to teach you how to pull out and extract the benefits of what it is that you sell. And all of this you will get as a bonus when you register. Now, you saw what this was worth. But for a limited time, I am offering you the opportunity to join me for this boot camp and get that power pack for only $497. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I've got to spend a lot of time here because you know whether or not you need to make this investment. Now, let's just talk really quickly about some of the excuses and reasons that might keep you from not doing this. Okay. Where are the I don't have time people? Where are you? Because you're here. You like, child, I am busy. I'm just like, can I submit to you that the reason you might be too busy is because you're working too hard, you don't have a system, and winging it takes up a lot more time than having a set plan that you run over and over. And if you really are that busy, you need something like this to help redeem back the time that you don't have. Let's talk about person number 2. I mean, I've tried things before, but they didn't really work. Well, here's the things. Most of the time, programs offer information, but what they do not offer is strong implementation. The difference between this boot camp and maybe some things you've tried before is that they gave you great information, but in our time together, you're going to get custom strategy. Just like I showed you that snapshot of the numbers, that's not everyone's numbers. What are your numbers? Together, we will come up with your specific play. Okay. Now, this is one of my favorites. This is one of my favorites. Person number 3 says, honey, I hear you, but I can figure this out on my own. Can I tell you something? You probably can. You didn't think I was going to say that, did you? You thought I was going to say, no, the only way is to do this with a coach. That would not be in integrity. It's not true. You can figure this out on your own. You could Google it. You could YouTube it. You could go to chat and ask it some questions. But can I tell you something? Without a certain level of expertise, number 1, it's going to take you longer. Number 2, you don't know the questions to ask chat. And so you're going to go round and around, and hopefully you do figure it out. Here's something that I learned. Working with a coach, working with a consultant drastically shortens the time from where you are to where you want to be. And so people don't just pay for knowledge, they pay for speed of results. Because the reality is, on your own, it could take you a year or 2 to really figure this out. But by working with someone who has duplicated this result over and over, you can see it implemented in your business in weeks to months. And the question is, how long, how much money would you waste by figuring it out on your own versus quickly getting to your own 5-figure months? Person number 4 says, girl, the world is on fire. I'm tired. Who are you? Who you here? You like, I'm already doing so much. I just feel overwhelmed. Can I tell you something? Then that is even more of the reason you need to be here. Because you are working hard. Let's talk really transparently. If working hard alone was going to get you there, more people would be successful. It is working smart and with intention and strategy that really makes the difference. And so I don't want you to just work hard anymore. I want you to work smart so that you get more of a return on what you're already doing. That's going to give you a vigor and a strength that you might not feel right now. And then lastly is probably my very favorite person, the person who's like, gas prices are high, eggs are $50. Are you sure about this? But here's what I can tell you. I'm trying to think of the client who has made maybe the least with me. I, on average, get my clients from where they are to a minimum of 10 that crossing their first 5-figure month. Let's just assume that you were slow and that you didn't even do as well as my average client. Let's say you only made half of what they typically do and you generated an additional $5,000. How much more gas could you buy? How much more peace would that give you at the grocery store? If you're like, you know what, I didn't even do as well as her average client. I just only made $5,000, but it gave me breathing room and it gave me enough to catch my breath. If that $497 feels like a stretch, then it's more of the reason why you should be here, because it means that your business is probably not yet generating what it needs to, and you've probably brought yourself as far as you're going to get you. But it's possible that you need new information, new resources to get to where you want to be. All right. And so here's where we close. If nothing changes, child, nothing changes. at some point you just make a decision that I just got to try something different. All right. Now, I want to give you an opportunity to not just take it from me, but I want you to hear from a few people who have had the privilege of working with me to really, really see what their experience was. Okay.
Just wanted to encourage you to say yes to working with. I am Tema Aziz Serwa. I am the visionary and founder of the company, The Womb Sauna. And I just need to testify. When I first said yes to being a full time entrepreneur, I got to be honest, I knew it was God ordained because I immediately began to obtain success. I left my cozy corporate job and literally the next day was on the road with the womb sauna, and within the first year covered half of the United States. Some people could call it luck. I call it being blessed. But in order to sustain success, you have to have infrastructure and strategy. Passion could only take me so far. And after being a full-time entrepreneur for over a decade, I developed some blind spots. And I didn't recognize them until I had my branding audit call with Tiffany Bethia. Can we just lift our hands and praise for Tiffany Bethia and her team? I immediately saw thousands of dollars pour into my business in less than 48 hours because Tiffany Bethia could see what I could not. If you are in business, whether you're in the startup phase, and if you're in the startup phase and you run into Tiffany Bethia, you are blessed and highly favored. Or if you feel like you're a veteran, you've been in business for 5, 7, 8, 10 plus years, and you are recognizing that your conversions have decreased, maybe you were like me and you were speaking a language that the ideal client cannot understand because you are so familiar with your own ideas that you assume it's translating. I just wanted to encourage you to say yes to working with her. It made a measurable difference in my company, the Womb Sauna, and I hope you say yes to Tiffany Bethia and her team. They are incredible.
I am so glad that I did the VIP day because Tiffany has been an absolute blessing from start to finish. I'm a person where I've done a lot of research. I know marketing tactics and all these things, but I needed some confirmation. I needed somebody to help kind of put all the pieces together and like really help pull the ideas out, really help pull the passion out. And that's what this did for me. So I'm excited to really start to see my vision come to life. Like, I'm so excited and I feel so blessed and loved on through this process. So do it, do it.
All right, today's session was absolutely awesome. I am so happy that I was called to work with Tiffany because I have so many gaps in my business. Well, she said I didn't have a lot, but it was enough to know that I needed to get my business on track and get it cleaned up. Things like email and the sequence where it could bring in more income and free up my time. Knowing how to position myself in my market, even to see who the competitors are, is very important to see how their funnel is working for them or their presentation. Understanding that the brand is not just about colors and fonts, but it really is the presentation, is what you're offering. Is the wording clear? Is it clear to the readers, even in terms of like the reading level? There was so much that I got out of this. It's awesome. And anybody who signs up, I definitely think it will be a benefit for your business. So sometimes we try to piecemeal things and it just doesn't work. But in our mind, we think we can get away with it, but then also wondering why we're not bringing in income or freeing up time or whatever that why is for you. Tiffany was able to help me to see where my leaks are so that we can plug them up. And I'm so grateful that I did this call for her. This brand audit is excellent in its presentation, in its thoroughness, and just Tiffany herself is a delight. And I'm so blessed to have been able to speak with her. I appreciate her greatly.
There we go. And so listen, how many of you are like, okay, Tiffany, I know I need your help, girl. Get off my street. You are okay. I get it. I get it. I get it. And so I want to show you if you know that, okay, I need to take this information, but I also need to go a little bit deeper. I want to give you exactly what that's going to look like. Okay, there we go. Now, here's the last question I have for you. Are you going to try to take this and figure it out on your own, try to go to Claude and put in some stuff, but still not be sure? Or are you going to accelerate your results by actually working with me and tapping into something that's been proven to work over and over and over again? All right. So listen, I am only taking, all right, the first 10 people that register because I want to make sure that I'm able to really spend quality amount of time with each person and give custom support and feedback. All right. So you can actually apply. I want to make sure that I get the right people. So when you go to TiffanyBethia.com, and I believe I can drop this in the comments as well, go to TiffanyBethia.com. You're going to see a link at the top, and it's going to say apply now for the Q2 revenue reset. And let me put that in here as well. There we go. Okay. I also want to take a couple of quick moments while you guys are here. If you've got questions in the comments, feel free to type it out and I'm going to answer your questions. I hope this was helpful for you today. Drop and let me know something in the comments. Let me know something that you learned, something that you took away from this, something that was an aha, whether it was the first time you heard it or whether you heard it again and you said, oh, okay, I know. So I want to hear your questions, your comments, what you guys are thinking about. While you are typing this in, I want to also just say thank you so much for joining me. We've been together for a little bit over an hour, and I'm really grateful that you were here. I hope that something that you heard dropped the seed in your mind and you said, okay, because listen, now with everything going on, you are needed more than ever. Your business is needed more than ever. Your expertise, the service, the product, whatever you provide, the world is still in need of it. And this is a time where you can't wing it and you're going to be more overwhelmed by trying to wing it, trying to figure it out, trying to throw something at the wall. And for those of you who are believers like me, this is where the enemy comes in because we start asking ourselves, did I do the right thing? Well, God, maybe you didn't. And he's like, no, I did call you to do this. However, you're just winging it and you need strategy and you need structure. Yes, I love that. Yes, it is. Come on. This is good feedback. I love it. All right. So if you're like, Tiffany, I know I need to reserve one of these spaces, then I'm going to go to TiffanyBethia.com now. Here's what I'm going to ask you. If this information was helpful, if something you heard, you're like, man, I want you to think about that one person who you know also needs to hear this. And I want you to share this with them. Coach Susie said, if you don't have an intentional client journey, you won't have consistent sales. Yes, ma'am. You got that right. Okay. Will this be offered any other time? I am not sure as of right now. Yes, but I do not have those dates planned out as of right now. So yes, but I am only filling this current class at that moment. So I would say, and the good thing is I already know you're on my email list because I know you very well. So stay tuned because I definitely will be doing more revenue reset boot camps for sure. Okay. All right, lovelies. Well, listen, I'm going to give you your day back or your evening, whenever you're seeing this. But I thank you so much for joining me. I hope that this is the most fruitful quarter of your business. I hope that this quarter, you're like, oh my gosh, we got so much business. We didn't even know what to do with it. Why? Because you begin to move with strategy, which allowed you to move with speed. All right. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. And hopefully, I'll get to serve you and see you inside of the boot camp. All right. Bye, ladies.